Assuming you've got a nice set of My Pillows, can I hook you up, Senator?
Well, I don't, but I certainly need my rest because we've got the Judge Barrett hearings next week, so it's going to be a circus starting next week.
Right. I don't want to break any campaign contribution laws. I don't want you to take any kind of gift that you're not supposed to get. Senator, the reason I ask about Roe v. Wade, if it were overturned, is because when John McCain was running in 2008, he's on The View, and one of the ladies says to him, "What happens if Roe v. Wade is overturned?" And I'm at home yelling, "It goes to the states. It goes to the states." And you live in a New York state, which is very liberal. Nothing's going to change. Instead, Senator McCain just went, I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen. But what kind of answer is that?
The wrong answer. I mean, it's. You're exactly right, and what I describe in the book One Vote Away, in the chapter on life, is for 200 years of our nation's history, laws on abortion were made at the state level, and different states had different laws. And if you wanted to change the laws on abortion, you did the same thing you did if you wanted to change any other laws, which is you tried to convince your fellow citizens your ideas were right and their ideas were wrong. Then in 1973, the Supreme Court stepped in and said, "You silly voters, you don't get to decide this anymore. We're taking this out of your hand. The American people have no ability to resolve this question." And I think that decision, more than anything, politicized the court. It's the reason we have these ugly circus confirmations now. And you know what was interesting about last night when a question on abortion came up? Kamala Harris hid from her views. The Democrats don't think their views are a winner because Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, they support unlimited abortion on demand up until the moment of birth, partial birth abortion with no parental notification, no parental consent, and taxpayer funding for it all. Do you know, Larry, that only 9% of Americans support that radical extreme position? And yet that's what they want the court to mandate. And we're just one vote away from the court striking down every restriction the states have put in place on abortion, parental notification laws, partial birth laws. That's the liberals' plan, is to rely on the radicals in the court rather than try to convince their fellow Americans.
My guest is Senator Ted Cruz. Senator, people are clueless about the real meaning of Citizens United. Can you explain to people what that ruling really means and why is the left so afraid of it?
Yeah, I can. It's a hugely important question. The chapter on free speech in the book talks all about Citizens United. Most people have heard of it, but they don't know what it is, and they know Democrats hate it.
Right.
What it was about is our right to criticize politicians. And in this instance, a nonprofit group in D.C. called Citizens United made a movie critical of Hillary Clinton. And the Obama Justice Department took the position that the government could fine them, could punish them for daring to criticize Hillary Clinton. The case went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. The most chilling moment was an oral argument when Justice Sam Alito asked the Obama Justice Department, under your theory of the case, could the federal government ban books? And the Obama Justice Department said, yes, we can ban books. Never mind what the First Amendment says, but we can. They criticize a politician. Now, thankfully, the Supreme Court rejected that by a vote of 5-4. There were 4 justices willing to say the government can censor movies, can censor books, can ban books if they criticize politicians. We're one vote away from our free speech rights being taken away.
Chapter 1, Religious Liberty, Van Orden versus Perry. That
case was the Texas Ten Commandments monument, a monument that stands on the state capitol grounds. It's been there since 1961. A individual plaintiff, an atheist, a homeless man, saw it, filed a lawsuit against it, argued you can't display the Ten Commandments on public grounds. That case went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. We won 5-4, which means there were 4 justices ready to say, bring out the bulldozers, knock it down. We can't gaze on the Ten Commandments on public land. Now, let me ask you something, Larry. Do you know how many times the image of the Ten Commandments appears in the courtroom of the Supreme Court?
I know it's up there.
43. There are 2 on the wooden doorways leading out.
Right.
There are 40 on the bronze gates on the sides, and then up to the left of the justice's shoulder is a frieze with great lawgivers. Moses is there holding the Ten Commandments. The Hebrew is legible, and 4 justices were ready to say, take out the chisels because God has to be removed from the public square. That is Joe Biden's agenda for the court, and our rights, they are hanging. We are literally one vote away from losing it, and this book is designed to make that real. You know, you don't have to be a lawyer to enjoy this book. This book is designed so that you can understand. A lot of people know the court matters, but they don't understand the details. This book is interesting. It's fun. And I'll tell you something amazing, Larry. It made it all the way to the #1 bestseller in the country on Amazon. So you can buy it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, anywhere you get your book, you can get it right now. And I think in this election season with the Judge Barrett confirmation, this book will help arm your readers with the facts and understanding that when you're talking to your friends and neighbors, you'll understand the details and why it matters for your life.
It's also available on my website, One Vote Away, How a Single Supreme Court Seat Can Change History. It's by my guest, Senator Ted Cruz. Senator, we only have about 45 seconds left. What is your position in general on displaying Confederate monuments in the public square?
You know, I think that's a question for the voters, and that's actually consistent with everything else I've said, which is the voters can decide they don't want to. The voters can decide they do want to. I don't think it's the business of somebody else to make that decision. Our history on race has been a troubled journey, but it has been a steady journey. I agree with Dr. King that the arc of history bends towards justice, and we have been moving to equal justice under the law. And that has been a journey from the very beginning of our nation.
Senator, who wins on November 3?
I genuinely don't know. The hard left's going to show up in massive numbers. If everybody else shows up, if people turn out, we could have a great election. The president could get reelected, and we could retake the House and hold the Senate.
Senator,
if people stay home, we're in trouble.
One Vote Away, How a Single Supreme Court Seat Can Change History by my guest, Senator Ted Cruz. Senator, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Larry.